Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. We have the first roadmap update of the year, so let us check out what it's all about. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you so much for the support. I cannot do this without you guys. So first off, in regards to the replication layer split, as we have seen, testing continues on, with the latest test happening now on the Tech Preview channel. Regardless though, it does state that they are moving the replication layer card out of the 322 branch or column and into the 323 column as they continue to work on it. Now this certainly is a shame. I was really hoping to see this tech release in the 322 branch, but it is what it is. I would rather they give it the testing it needs than bring it in too early. Now moving on to the release viewer, there is one new addition to the Alpha 322 branch, which is currently in testing in Alpha 322.1 on the EPTU, and this is called Gravlev Racing, which says, introducing a new experimental mode to Arena Commander featuring Gravlev vehicles racing through 5 different maps, which include the Snake Pit forward and reverse map, Clio Islands, River's Edge, and Shifting Sands. Now this is something that I have been waiting for a long time. I love ship racing, although I don't have the time to participate as much as I would like to, but ground racing is definitely more my thing, so very happy to see that this is making its way in for the current build, but it does seem that I don't have access yet. I have downloaded the patch on the EPTU, and unfortunately the Gravlev mode option is just not there, so hopefully this issue gets rectified soon, as I'm really eager to get in and get racing. Anyway, moving on to the features that are planned for 323. Many of them we already know about, which were revealed on StarCitizen Live, but there are also some new ones as well. So I will run through them all, but only briefly speak about the ones that we already know of. Also do note that this patch is actually slated to release in Q2 of this year, not Q1, which is the usual release cadence, but that is most likely due to the grandeur of this patch and how impactful all of these features are, but it also mentions that the current target date or month is April 2024. So it is certainly a change up from the norm, albeit the Q1 patch on most occasions releases in April anyway, but the Q1 release is technically supposed to be at the end of March, the Q2 release technically around the end of June. So kind of a fair trade-off in my opinion to get so many features in, but let us hope that things go really smooth and we can get testing this stuff on the PTU as soon as possible and then get it out to live in April. Anyway, with that said, here are the features currently listed on the release viewer for 323. Some are missing, so do expect more to be added as mentioned in StarCitizen Live. So kicking off with the current known features coming to 323, starting with the star map rework, which says bringing improved visuals and usability, including easier search and trip planning functionality. Next is the new FPS map system, or mini-maps, which appear in the top left hand of the helmet visor HUD, and as we heard, with this release, we won't see every single location or every ship interior have its mini-map, as they will need to be marked up, so more will release with each patch as time goes on. The next feature we knew about are the personal and instanced hangars, which says creating new tech that creates an instance of the player's hangar to allow for uninterrupted management of cargo, inventory and vehicles. Personal hangars are found at the player's home location and allow for customization and organization of the hangar interior. Now what this means is, for now all hangars will be instanced, but for each player, wherever you choose as your home location, you will have a personal hangar there to decorate how you please. You can leave stuff lying around anywhere and it will remain there. Or you could store things in your global inventory via the freight elevators. But also, as you travel around and land at other locations with hangars, once the door closes, these hangars will become instanced and allow you to spend as much time as you need to load or unload cargo, getting your ships and stuff set up how you want. But they won't be your personal hangars like you'll have at your chosen landing area, so no decorating them. So a really exciting and handy change, and great to have a proper place that we can call home. So naturally, freight elevators are next on the list, and this says implementations of systems and content for players to physically load and unload cargo to and from their ships by conveying cargo to and from hangars, landing pads, garages, and docking collars. So another very important feature coming in 323, and it does look like it is going to be for many other places, not just hangars, like it says garages, docking collars, and landing pads, like we see here on this image of this outpost. Really interested to see just how useful and integrated these hangars will become once this patch goes live. The next feature is the dynamic crosshair, which, as we heard, is only going to be applicable to combat helmets and will allow for quicker target acquisition in close quarter situations. And for me, the most exciting aspect of this particular feature is that it's the starting point of having contextual armors and helmets for each profession or role in the verse, something that I have been looking forward to for quite some time now. EVA Tier 2 was added to the release viewer. I won't go into this one as we already know so much about it from inside StarCitizen, and the same goes for the personal interaction experience, both of which we learnt about a lot, and both obviously very important features. The new FPS quick loot screen was added to the release viewer as well, and this basically allows players to loot critical combat items much quicker rather than delving into the third-person loot screen that we have currently, which you can still do if you want to. This new loot screen just provides an alternate option for when you're in the heat of the battle, getting magazines, med pens, and weapons super quick without faffing around with where you want to place them. The new character customizer was also added to the list, as we knew about, and should really help to add a lot more variety and quality to the players, and maybe even NPCs of the verse as well. Next up, we have the visor and lens HUD rework, which involves converting the visor and lens system to building blocks for improved performance and flexibility. And actually, if you jump into the new Master Mode's experimental mode, I think the Pirate Swarm one, I'm pretty sure the new helmet HUD is there in use already. Next, we have the distribution centers, which says, creating new traversal areas offering gameplay opportunities in corporate industrial environments. And this initial release includes the surface levels of the facilities, with underground areas coming in a later update. So these are going to be really exciting new locations in which we see many players coming and going about their business, and in some cases pirate activity as well. But as they mention, it is just the sort of surface level interiors that we're getting, which are quite vast, but the subsurface areas will be coming later. And I can tell you, looking at these videos of some of these underground sections, they are going to be pretty impressive when they do include the underground bits. They also added the Blockade Runner dynamic event, which involves the Ninetales gang locking down a Leo station and an L1 or L2 rest stop, where players need to break through and purchase and sell a percentage of Quantanium before the timer runs out. This sounds like it is going to be quite a fun one to play with your friends, but even solo, helping to defend the haulers from the Ninetales. So excited to see more about this and get stuck in, and hopefully get the org involved as well. And then the final feature that we know about added to the 323 release column is Master Modes, which reads, implementing new modes to vehicles to manage their speed, components, and role-specific functions, and this release includes the Nav and SEM mode, as well as a complete retuning of all ships. So quite the undertaking, and quite a change from what we have now, and I have had a little play of the Pirate Swarm with the Hornet in Master Modes, and it was a lot of fun. You really get a sense of what is going on more as the reduced speeds allow you time to think, but it can get really intense when you are ganged up on, trying to find a way to escape. And as we can already see as well, these changes are heavily getting tweaked, with Cloud Imperium increasing the shield reserve pool in Nav mode up to 100% instead of 50%, meaning the minute that you switch back to the SCM mode, your shields will go back to 100% rather than start refilling from 50, which is a great idea and should leave players a little less vulnerable. But as always, this is a fluid process and can change as balance comes in for other areas of gameplay. Now on to the new features that we didn't know were coming until the roadmap update dropped. First up, we have Reputation Hostility. Now this is adding a new feature to the reputation system where players will encounter AI that are either friendly or hostile based on their reputation with the organization that the AI belongs to, as well as introducing different friendly fire thresholds and defense responses. So a really cool addition here that essentially means that your actions in the burst carry more impact as you make your way around. For example, if you shoot a Ninetales at one location, news will travel to other Ninetales in other locations that you are hostile, and you will be shot on sight. But on the other hand, if you help the Ninetales, they may eventually come to your aid and fight on your behalf. So quite the change, and it does add a lot more for pirates and other opportunities in game as well. Another new addition yet to be announced is the Mobiglass rework, which was looking very likely after they announced all of the other Mobiglass app changes, but nice to get confirmation here. And this card says, reworking the Mobiglass to use building blocks, which will also allow for easier development of Mobiglass apps, and this rework includes the new home screen, maps, contract manager, and journal apps. So as much as the new Mobiglass is a big win in itself, with the updated UI, the fact that it allows for more apps to come in much quicker is really a massive win, like a bounty hunting app, cargo manifest app, trading app, and the Galactopedia too. Now, this next feature is one that I know many have been patiently waiting for. It is called Item Bank and Unique Item Recovery, and this says, adding item bank kiosks to the persistent universe, allowing players to retrieve and store FPS items at multiple locations. This addition will also allow players to retrieve lost account-bound items, such as subscriber flare. So firstly, this item bank means that you could store something in this bank at one location and access it at other areas, which is definitely going to be handy, but with the unique item recovery, this means we won't be holding back using subflare or store-bought FPS items, as we will be able to recover them. But I do suspect there will be some form of cooldown in place to ensure that players don't just have all of their org mates queuing up waiting for the guy who bought a weapon to keep reclaiming it and handing it out one after the other. All the same though, a great way for players to recover the items that are account bound without fear of losing them until the next wipe. So the last new feature to get added is called New Missions Cargo Hauling. Now this is an important one for me, as it will expand the cargo profession big time, and this says, making use of the freight elevator feature, this mission type will have players hauling large quantities of cargo to earn both Alpha UEC and reputation. Now the potential for what we could see here is pretty huge. It could just be a few larger scale missions, or a whole ecosystem of new opportunities on all scales. Hopefully it is the latter, but if you do want to learn more about what to expect in the grand scheme of cargo hauling in Star Citizen, do check out the video that I published a day or two ago, as it really highlights all that Cloud Imperium want from this profession. And as it mentions here, reputation is also going to expand, with unique unlockables only accessible in-game, giving that feeling of true progression. So there you have it, that was the first roadmap update of the year. Nice to see many other features getting included, and not just the ones that we already know of. But 3.23, as we know, keeps looking better and better. It was also mentioned that the progress tracker will be updated in a couple of weeks' time, so no changes there, but as usual fashion, I will cover all of those changes in the work ending and work starting videos once they update. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do appreciate my videos, please do consider subscribing. Thank you so much for helping us reach 60,000 subscribers. You guys are phenomenal. Also, come and hang out over at twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother. The link is in the description below. We are playing 3.22, we're just chilling out in the verse. Might try some master mode stuff today. Really wish I could play the Gravlev stuff, but we'll have to wait for that one. You are all more than welcome over at Twitch, especially if you are new to the verse, which some of you might be because of the free fly. If you have any questions about the game, the project, about what it is, what it's trying to be, head over there and say hello. You can ask as many questions as you want, I don't mind. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you would like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.